Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join our instructor webinar series this morning. Today, we are going to cover some course wrap-up tips for course administrators in the Hawks gradebook. So today, we're going to first start off by looking at how you guys can archive your gradebooks for all instructors. We'll also look at how you can export the grades for all of your instructors. I'm going to quickly go over a great report called the Web Test Objective. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how you can create master course shells, and then you can push those out if you're getting ready to create your summer and fall courses for your colleagues and instructors. So thank you again, and feel free to jump into our Q&A to ask any questions you might have. I've set aside some time towards the end where we can cover that. Thanks. So the first thing we're going to take a peek at is if we want to archive the gradebook for all the instructors. So if you're in your gradebook, you can click on the Tools tab, and you can come down to Archive Gradebooks. This is a great way to gather a screenshot of the entire gradebook itself. So if you ever need records, or if you ever need to review old student grades, you can do so right here. You can see by default, it's going to select all the instructors in the gradebook. So if we came into here and we want to archive them all, you can name this if you'd like to. Some instructors I work with, they might name this like Spring 21 semester, for example. And I'm just going to archive a couple of quick sections right here. Once I archive this gradebook, it might take a minute or two. And like I mentioned, it's essentially taking a screenshot of the entire gradebook itself. So once you are ready, if you need to review any of these grades in the future, you can always have that record here. Once it's done, you can open it up. It's going to be in a nice Excel document for you guys, and you guys can save those locally onto your computer as well. Next thing we're going to take a peek at is exporting grades for all your instructors as well. So I'm not going to let this finish archiving, but if we come into the Reports tab and we want to just take an export of your Spring 21 semester grades, you go under the Reports, and under this left-hand column, you'll see this Export Grades option. If we come into here, you have a couple nice settings you can choose. You can pick and choose certain instructors, certain sections, certain students if you'd like to. But if you want to, you can simply click on this instructor. If we wanted to export the grades from all the instructors in the gradebook, I'd simply click on All Instructors right here. And then on the right-hand side, this is where you can choose the specific sections as well. So I'm going to click on Select the Section. We are going to do All Sections. And you can also pick and choose some specific details if you want. Sometimes if you want to see the section name associated with the students, if you want to see the student ID of the last time they logged in, you can also check off these options as well. And then you also have some point settings at the top of the page as well. And if I click Submit, this is going to, once it's ready to open up in an Excel document, you'll be able to nicely see these reports as we're pulling up right here, actually. And so we can see it's going to break down on a page-by-page basis. So this is one section. Here's another section. This is a good one because we can actually see some students in here, but you can see final grades, letter grades. It's pulling over some of the assignment group grades right here. The next tool I'm going to show you guys real quickly is the Web Test Objective. So this is a great tool if you and your colleagues are giving the same web tests or same quizzes, maybe the same final exam, and you really want to see how students are doing on an objective by objective basis. So we came into here and we come into this right-hand column, we have the Web Test Objective report. I also like to highlight in here, this is where you can begin to create and manage web test objectives. So essentially, you can create an objective if you wanted to cover maybe adding fractions, for example. And then if you associate it to each individual web test or final exam or quiz, for example, you can run a report that's going to show you if the students have either A, completed and met that objective, or if they did not meet that objective. You can also set it up by a percentage base, so maybe they have to answer like 100%, and that counts as meeting the objective as well. I'm also going to highlight, since we don't have a ton of time today, we did host a web test objective webinar report. This is something that is going to be on our blog page at blog.hawkslearning.com. It's a great resource right here. And then definitely, as always, don't hesitate to reach out to your training support representative as well, and they can quickly highlight this report with you. And then the last couple of things I wanted to quickly cover for course administrators is you all have the ability to create master course shells, and then you can push it out to your instructors who are actually teaching the course in summer, fall, spring semesters. So if you want to begin creating these sections, you can simply come into the Tools tab. You can click on Manage Instructors and Sections. If you have, if it's yourself as the instructor in the gradebook here, you can click on yourself. I'm just going to go into this admin instructor name, and we can see that we have my master admin course already set up in here. So we can pretend that you've created the settings, you've chosen the assignments, the curriculum, the lesson due dates, everything like that. And now you're ready to push out these settings to your colleagues who are teaching the course. If you come into your section right here, you can see that we have this apply settings to multiple sections. So if you came in, you can, if you wanted to, you can copy these basic settings. The basic settings are essentially everything over here. So it'd be the meeting times, if you have specific start and end dates, and also like what time the students have to submit lessons by, then I would recommend checking this box off first. And if you came down below, you can see that you have all of the instructors that are in your gradebook here. So if we knew that a couple of these instructors were teaching the course coming up in the summer or the fall, you can either click on the plus sign if you want to choose individual sections for that instructor, or you can check on the checkbox and it'll apply these settings to all of the sections that are associated with that instructor. Once you scroll down and you click Save Changes right here, that's going to push out all the settings to these colleagues of yours that that are ready to go and teach in the summer or the fall. You can also come into here if you want to. And if you needed to create a section for a specific instructor, you could come into here. You can name this section, maybe it's Math 101. You click into here, you can see this copy settings from another section, and then you could choose your master section. So we have our admin instructor again. If I wanted to copy the settings over from the master admin course, simply click into here, and then all the settings that are associated with that master course are now going to be associated with this section 1 as well. All right, guys, that's the main things I had to cover today for the course administrators course wrap-up tips. I'm going to hang out here for a few minutes and see if anyone has any questions in the Q&A. And if you don't have any questions now, and if questions do pop up, please don't hesitate to contact us or contact your designated training support rep. We're always happy to help and assist in any way we can. All right, we do have one quick question. It's a good question about archiving the gradebook. So the question is once you archive the gradebook, how do you actually see that archive? You can see it underneath this Tools tab again, and you can click on this View Archive Gradebooks here. If I click into here, we can see that we have a couple of archives that have been taken in here over our time. So if I wanted to, I can click on which archive I want to look at. So if I want to look at the one that we were just working on today, and you can see that we have options up here to view archive gradebook, or you can look at an individual student if you'd like as well. So if I came into here and I wanted to look at this archive gradebook for this instructor, you can see that we're going to have this information right here. So here are this instructor students, and then you have the grades over here on the right-hand side. You can also see at the top of the page, like most of our reports, you can export this. It'll open up in an Excel file so you can easily save it as well. And then these archives, these will be available in your gradebook for however long you need it. And if you ever did need to, You can always delete an old archive if this list begins to get a little longer. If you want to keep it nicely organized, you can always come in here and delete out an archive if you ever needed to. Then we had one other quick question just asking about where instructors can access more of our webinar series videos and training videos that our teams have put together. If you go to blog.hawkslearning.com, that will be a great way for you guys to access these materials. And I can quickly show you guys what that will look like as well. So if I came up here and went to blog.hawkslearning.com, what I recommend going to if you want to look at specific videos, you can come into the webinars area. And we have a lot of options in here. If you want training specific videos, you can simply come into training. And you can see that we have sessions. These are more so student trainings and best practices for them. We have some session specific trainings and information in here. And then we also highlight some of our training series that we've hosted over the past year or so as well. Perfect. So I don't see any more questions in here, but like I said, guys, please don't hesitate to reach out to your designated training support representative, anyone on our tech support team. We're always happy to help make sure that you guys are having a positive experience and you guys are using Hawks to the best of your ability. I hope you guys semesters wrap up smoothly, and I hope you guys have a great summer.